Hello, this is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we are doing another chapter in book 4 of the Clockwork Chronicles, the final obstacle. Yeah. Lots been on my mind today. I just decided I would record, especially since I've been working on some stuff, like my mini novel. Like it's a mini novel. Like I've mentioned it before, but like I'm getting closer and closer to getting it done, which is nice and exciting. And then I have to write the other short stories that I have ideas for, and but those won't come until long after this book is finished. Anyway, if you guys like this story or have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, be sure to leave a comment below. And if you want to see more of these, what happens, there are playlists that you check out. And yeah, if you want to subscribe for more, feel free. Because I have more stories. I could write more stories. Yeah. Chapter 4. Stumpy couldn't believe how well the day had gone. He couldn't believe just how much fun the three of them had had. And he knew that they would have an amazing evening if nothing went wrong. But so far, everything seemed peaceful. Nothing seemed out of place or strange. Everything appeared to be as it should be. The cat walked down the path beside his friend, Squishy. Squishy was keeping her pace with him, while William stood protectively behind, alert and aware, ready to jump into action if needed. The cat didn't argue, because deep down he knew it would be better this way. Even though he couldn't be sure something would happen, it was better to be safe than regret it later. The last thing he wanted was to see one of his friends get hurt. The cat watched as the sun finally set. The final beams of light finally faded from the night sky, allowing for the stars to sparkle to life. They looked like jewels against the darkening sky. It looked beautiful. "What's on your mind now, Stampy?" Squishy asked curiously, breaking the silence that had held for a small bit of time. "Not much, just what we'll be doing tonight," the cat mused. "It's a surprise." "Really?" she said with an evident tone of intrigue. "I wonder what it could be." "You'll see soon enough," the cat said confidently, as they continued walking, rounding a corner, looking around to ensure no googlies would try to intercept them. Even if they did, he could easily handle them. They were nothing compared to the real dangers that were out there, waiting and watching. But for now, they weren't attacking. No one was in danger. Everyone was safe and happy, and he wanted it no other way. They continued on for no more than a couple of minutes before Stumpy suddenly felt a chill run through his spine. As uneasiness filled him. He looked around warily, unsure of what was going on. It felt like someone was watching them. Something that didn't seem right. Just couldn't be sure of what. Suddenly, the cat heard it. At first, it was faint and distant, but the louder it got, the more he was sure of it. It was a helicopter, and not just any helicopter. It had to be Mr. A's. The cat looked over to his friends uneasily, having had frozen in his tracks, unsure of what he should do. But before he could say anything, William grabbed him and Squishy and pushed them inside a building, gesturing for them to hide. The cat didn't argue, as he hid behind a makeshift desk beside his friend. Squishy had an expression of confusion on her face. "What do you think it's doing here now?" she asked the cat slowly. The cat shook his head slowly aside. "I don't know. It could be looking for someone, or it could be just warning us about something." "Like what? They haven't forgotten about us?" she asked curiously. The cat nodded aside. "Kind of like that." But why now? After all the silence? She asked, a small frown. Cat hesitated before responding. Not sure. Why the men had been dormant for so long. The cat looked over by the door where William had disappeared out of, probably trying to see what the machine would do. The cat was glad there was a plan in place, but he just hoped it didn't backfire on them. I honestly don't know, the cat admitted sadly. Well, they won't find us, she said defiantly, putting a hand on her friend's shoulder. I won't let them get to you. The cat managed a small smile, ready to say something, but before he could hear movement behind him, a trickle of amusement coming from where they hadn't expected. The cat whirled around to see who it was and found a tall man staring back at them. He looked to be in his mid to late 30s and wore the unmistakable uniform of Mr. A. This man had probably snuck in before they had come here. They had planned this from the beginning. What are you doing here? Squishy demanded, instinctively pushing the cat behind her defensively. The man chuckled again as he finally spoke. And why didn't you check to see if someone was here before hiding out? You made it awfully easy for us this time. Us? Where are your other men? Squishy said, raising a suspicious eyebrow as she said it. They'll be here shortly, the man said slowly. As for you two, I can assure you that things won't be that easy. You won't get either of us, she said defiantly. The cat watched the man. Why? The man take a step closer, his cold eyes sparkling with intrigue as he did so. Mr. A only wants one of you, little duckling, the man said with a cold, dark smile, and he's already chosen who that will be. You won't win, she said confidently. No, the man only smiled and shook his head. You and your friends very much underestimate just what we can do. Mr. A wanted you gone. You'd probably have been ages ago. But he wanted to be sure that his plan would work out as perfectly as planned. What plan? The cat asked, finally speaking up for the first time. You'll see, cat, the man chuckled, and you won't want to miss it. I'm sure it'd be better if we did, the cat said, trying to sound braver than he felt. He wasn't alone, or outnumbered by this man, not yet anyway. He had to show that these men couldn't scare him easily, or get to him without an issue. He needed to prove that he was stronger, braver, that he wasn't scared of them anymore. Was he really? He could be so sure. But before they could say any more, the cat heard a loud explosion as the wall behind them flew in all directions, as he pulled his friend to the ground, groaning from the blast. No debris had hit him, but the explosion, sheer force, had shocked him. What was that? What had happened? Had a creeper come to join the party? Or had the men just found another way to get to him by destroying the hiding place he had attempted to cower behind? Stampy, are you okay? Squishy asked as she helped her friend to his feet. Cat shook his head as he looked up to see three men coming towards them from the new hole that had been created. Now they were outnumbered and outmatched. Where was William? Sam? The others? Wouldn't they know that something was wrong by now? Or had something happened to them? I think that both of you now have a choice to make. The lead man mused as he took a step closer, causing Squishy to put herself between him and the man. The only choice we have is stopping you, she said with an air of defiance. The man chuckled and shook his head. No, I believe that isn't one of your choices. Well, it is mine, she said as she lifted her chin higher, trying to look bigger and larger compared to the man that was surrounding them. The man sighed, shook his head again. He looked over at the cat, Meeting his eyes for some minutes, he said, "You don't want anyone to get hurt, now do you?" When the cat said nothing, he added, "I'll allow my men to leave her alone if you surrender to me, cat. Otherwise, she may get hurt if she tries to stop us from getting to you. And why would I believe you when I know what you're like?" The cat asked cautiously. "I can't trust that you won't do anything, especially since you know who we are." "Oh, Mr. A isn't planning to do anything to her yet," the man mused with a smile. "He has to finish you off first." "Why me?" the cat asked. As the man came even closer. "You already know the answer to that, cat," the man said, as he arched an eyebrow. "Now, this is your last chance to come to us peacefully, or you won't like what happens next." "You'll have to get through me first," Squishy said, with fire blazing in her big blue eyes as she extended her sword. The cat did the same, so she didn't feel as sure about it. 4 men, and only 2 of them. How could they possibly evade capture? Or worse, he needed his friends. They needed help. They needed... "Very well, if that's how you want to do it," the man said at his side, gesturing for the men to get closer. "Get the cat and make sure no one, not even that duckling, gets in our way." The cat watched, feeling pressed down by dread as he raised his sword beside his friend, hoping that someone was getting close. If help didn't come soon, he didn't want to know what would happen. But before he could raise his sword to defend himself, someone grabbed him from behind, and his sword clattered to the floor as he cried out in alarm. Squishy turned to attack his captor. Someone jumped from behind and tackled her to the ground. "No, please, you can't do this," the cat begged, as his captor tightened his grip on him as he was pulled away from the fight. Watched as the duckling struggled to fight back. The men, all on our own. "You should have just given yourself up, cat," the voice behind him spoke. "You let her seal her own fate." "I don't believe you," the cat said. She was dragged outside, calling out to Squishy, "William, anyone could possibly be nearby." But his voice was drowned out by the sound of the helicopter's rotors roaring above. The cat looked up with a sickening feeling of dread. A rope fell down from the copter, so his captor grabbed it and wrapped it around the both of them, securing themselves in place. "Lift us up!" the man hollered over the roar, as the cat felt his feet leave the ground, struggling as he tried to escape the man, not caring if it would hurt if he fell. He wanted to be away from the machine, away from this man, away from the inevitable. Wow, inevitable. This couldn't be happening. This had to be a bad dream, a horrible dream. This couldn't be real, but he knew it was. He couldn't hide from these men forever. He tried for 2 months, and it had ultimately failed. He'd practically given himself up on a silver platter without needing to. "Dimpy!" a voice shouted, bringing the cat out of his thoughts. He felt someone grab onto him, trying to pull him back down. The cat looked down to see Sam holding him firmly by the ankle. Looking up with determination, he too was lifted off the ground. "Let go, boy," the man warned as the cat swallowed, unsure what he should do in a situation like this. What if they fell? What would happen? "You first," the boy said defiantly as he tried to pull himself up higher, attempting to grab for the rope that kept the cat put. "Unfortunately for you, I can't let that happen," the man sneered as he went to kick the boy. The cat watched in horror as the man's boot hit the bottom of the boy's chin hard, and the boy lost his grip, plummeting to the ground. "No!" the cat screamed as he watched the boy fall, feeling a wave of shock and guilt fill him. He should have done better. He shouldn't have been so careless and leave himself so vulnerable. But his fear turned to momentarily relief. The cat saw Squishy charging in, catching the boy before he could hit the ground. Stopping his fall, she looked up at her friend. Look of certainty, anger, sadness. They'd been so close. Would they be able to stop the men from getting what they wanted? Time couldn't be sure. One thing was for certain. He was being separated from his friends once again. Once again, he couldn't be sure if he would ever get out of it. As he was pulled into the copter, untied, tossed onto a seat. She was frightened to do anything but cower there, wondering what would become of him now. Stampy felt like he had been flying in the air for an eternity. The copter going at top speed, so fast that everything below him was a blur. Were the men trying to throw off his friends? To try to stop them from finding him and stopping them from hurting him? What did these men even want with him? The cat felt uneasy as he sat on a seat near the window, looking out of it bitterly, wondering how these men had found him so easily. He thought he could trip them up by trying not to be so predictable, but they always knew how to get him, how to make sure his life was as miserable as possible. This was no different. The man had come out of nowhere, surprised them, even though the cat had known it would come eventually. It was just like its target, but the consequences were far worse. Instead of losing his own world, he could die. He could lose everything. That couldn't be brought back. It was done. That action could not be reverted. He was very sure of that. The cat closed his eyes as he took a slow, deep breath, trying to think of some way he could stop these men, some way of escape. But he knew it wouldn't work. There were too many of them, only one of him. Even if he did get away, he couldn't be sure they wouldn't track him down again. He couldn't run from this forever. But what more could he do? He was nothing but a prisoner to these men, a prize to bring back their leader. Triumph. Why had they made it so easy to get to him after that planning they'd done to ensure this kind of thing wouldn't happen? He shook his head, pushing his thoughts and questions aside. There was no use questioning what could or should have happened. He was here now, and he had to deal with it. He had to find some way to get away from these men, hide. Hide until his friends could find him. Would they be able to? Or would the men get to him first? He didn't know. He couldn't know. More moments passed. Long and painful minutes came and went, until he finally felt the whirring machine begin to slow until it was hovering above a small clearing that the cat could just about see. The machine finally began to its descent, as the cat debated what he should do next. Would the men even know what to do if he tried to run for it? Or did they have something in store for him? The cat finally felt the copter hit the ground, making his body jump as well as he attempted to regain his balance. Suddenly, someone grabbed him and pinned him against the wall of the machine. The cat could feel the cold metal against his body as the man behind him bound his wrists together, warning the cat not to try anything. Stampy didn't say anything as he heard the door open, and he was dragged out as the helicopter suddenly began to rise again. The cat watched in astonishment as it flew away, disappearing behind the trees as the man dragged him over to a chest, hidden within some bushes, attempted to empty all of the cat's belongings into it. "Is the portal ready?" the man asked someone that was most likely behind him. "Yes, sir," the voice responded. "Do you know what to do when we get through?" the man asked. "Destroy the evidence and make sure no one knows where he is," the voice replied with a smoked tone. "I know what to do, sir. We've talked about it 100 times already." "I don't want those pesky friends of his to find out where we've taken it, or taking him, the man grunted. It'll ensure that Mr. A can do what needs to be done. It will be done, sir, the voice replied simply. Count on it. I am, because Mr. A would not be pleased with you if you messed it up, the man holding him warned. He shoved the chest closed, stripping the cat of everything, leaving nothing behind. The cat was dragged towards what appeared to be a portal. His heart skipped a beat. He sighed. Were these men really going to try to deter his friends? To stop them from trying to follow? Would anyone be able to find him? What would become of him? What would become of him now that if no one could locate him and help him? He couldn't be sure he wanted to know. All he wanted was to be home, safe and sound, unafraid of what lay ahead for him in his future. He didn't even have a future. You will win, the cat managed to say, feeling the words as dry as he felt. He wanted to cry, wanted to crawl into a corner and hide from all of this, to be safe with his friends, happy and free, not fearing for his life, not knowing if his friends would ever find him. Sure, he hoped they would, that his friends would find some way to find him. But if the men were right, then that meant it wouldn't be that easy. He couldn't die alone, just as his enemies wanted him from him. He hated it. He could die alone, just as his enemies wanted him from him. He hated it, all of it. But he couldn't run from it this time. He had to face his fears, even as he slipped through the portal, swallowed by the welcoming light, as hope still sparked within him. He wouldn't let go of it, no matter what the men might try to do or say to him. He could do this. He had no choice but to. He just hoped that it would be enough. Anyway, that is the end of that chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, we'll have the next one coming up soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!